Not to be biased, but they are my favorite bird. I love talking about these guys, but they're just so prehistoric looking. I think that's the biggest thing that drew me to them. Having one right in front of you and just seeing how, I don't know, just it's the prehistoric aspect of it. They just such a cool looking bird that I was like instantly drawn to them, and they're just amazing animals, amazing birds.
Welcome to Brownsville TV's Creature Feature with the Gladys Porter Zoo, where we take you on an adventure into the heart of Brownsville. The Gladys Porter Zoo is accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, a distinction they have held since 1978. In this special series, we're exploring the amazing animals that call the Gladys Porter Zoo home. Each animal has its own story to tell. So buckle up as we journey through the habitats and uncover the wonders of wildlife. Right here on Creature Feature. Today we will be visiting our friends from Down Under, Cassowaries, Irwin, and Clementine.
Hi, girly. My name is Tony Torres, and I am the bird curator here at the zoo. We have southern cassowaries here at the zoo. There's three types of cassowaries. There's southern, northern, and dwarf cassowaries. And these guys are from the New Zealand and northeastern Australia area. So these guys are in the group of birds that are called ratites, and those are the large flightless birds. So it includes the ostrich, the rhea, the emu, and so cassowaries, and then also the kiwi. So all those birds are in the ratite family. From what I've read, I believe 50 to 60 million years that they've been around. Since 1971, we've actually had cassowaries. This pair that we have now, our male is Irwin, I call him Junior, and our female is Clementine, who I call Clem, or I call her Mamas for short. And Mamas is actually going to be 41 on July 3rd. And Junior is 10 years old. So these guys are also known as double wattled cassowaries, and the reason for that is because they do have two wattles. We do have the southern cassowaries here at the zoo. They are crepuscular, which means that they're very active during early morning hours and kind of later in the afternoon. You can hear them booming. So that sound is actually pretty unique to these guys. You can hear some of it, you can't hear all of it. It actually goes down to, I bet the frequency is like 24 hertz is from what I've read. I don't think I can get this through, but there you go. They're mainly frugivores, but I guess you would consider them an omnivore because they do take, they find a small lizard, a baby bird, some sort of bug. They will eat that as well. So I guess you can consider them more of an omnivore than a frugivore, but their main diet does consist of fruit. Fallen fruit. Basically these guys wander around the rainforest looking for food, and anything that's ripe and fallen right at the base of the tree, that's what they'll eat. Every now and then they'll go up and whatever they can reach, they'll eat that as well. So I'm actually going to give them their favorite treat, and these are mice. So like I did mention earlier, they do eat some animal protein, but this is probably her favorite. She always tries to steal them from him. Junior. These guys are actually from the rainforest. That's where you find them. They like to hide in there and, be in the shade. So we try to replicate our exhibit kind of looking like a rainforest. We have a palm society here that helped us out with ribbon palms, some fishtail palms, and a couple of Welsh River palms as well. We try to keep the theme of Australia. So a lot of these plants, or most of these plants, are from the Australia area. The only things that are not are the fruit trees that we planted in there, and that's to kind of give them their opportunity to forage on their own. So we do have a fig tree, a papaya tree, and a banana tree in there, just so they can go through the natural, process of foraging for food. And so that's what they do. They pick up the ripe fallen fruit from the ground. So in the wild, actually, the biggest threat is deforestation. So they are losing their homes, basically. Another big one is car strikes. So as they run across the road, they get hit by a car. And then the third one, main one, is wild boars and wild dogs. So the wild dogs will eat or kill the chicks, and then the wild boars will destroy the nests and the eggs. So these guys are a keystone species. So they're actually really important in the rainforest. They're known as the gardeners of the rainforest. So these guys, what they do, I talked about eating fallen fruit. So they eat fruit, and then they're actually really good seed dispersers. So they'll go in there, they'll poo in another section of the rainforest, and then a tree or a plant will grow from that. So these guys are really, really important to that ecosystem because they keep it healthy. So they're definitely intimidating if you're up close to one. Our female is about maybe 5.5 to 6 feet tall. And when she gets angry, she kind of stands really straight up. So she's definitely taller than me. Our male's about 5.5 feet tall. So temperament-wise, it depends, and I've seen it with different cassowaries. Our female is pretty chill for a cassowary. Our male is a little more aggressive. So they do have a dagger-like claw in their foot. So what these guys do is they jump and they kick at the same time. And they have really powerful legs. So they cause a lot of damage with that claw. And that claw can actually grow up to about 5 inches in length. And it's actually pointy. So it's basically a dagger. It's not probably a bird you want to run into. You know, you don't want to corner them for sure. So they actually they don't do a whole lot for the most part. So they do have access to their barn all day. So if they do want to go inside and they don't want to necessarily be outside, they can. She usually chooses to go inside. He likes to be outside. But for the most part, kind of walk around. They're picking up stuff from the ground. We feed them twice a day, early in the morning and then usually right after lunch to get a second feeding. But I do like to give them showers, so I'll bring out the hose, and then she absolutely adores the showers. But then she gets the zoomies, so then she kind of jumps up and then she starts to run around the yard. And for a bird her age, I think that's pretty good. But typically you would see like this type of behavior during breeding season. So what happens is she'll walk around and then he kind of follows behind her. And then when she's receptive to him, she'll just sit down. So typically these guys are around January or February, that's when you start seeing signs of them wanting to be together. So we're pretty lucky that our pair actually get along pretty well, so we do leave them together all year round. How we used to have them separated is we do have 2 gates at either side of their enclosure. We would have one bird on each side, and they would show us signs by coming up to the end of the enclosure and kind of just sitting there and watching each other. And that's when we knew that, okay, it's time to put them together, and we would open the gates and they would, just stay together. They are pretty much solitary in the wild. The only time they come together is during breeding season. And it's actually the dad that takes care of the eggs. So he incubates the eggs, he hatches the eggs, and then he rears the young till about a year old. And then they kind of go off on their own. But their eggs are like a really pretty lime green color. So these are the size of the eggs that they lay. And normally it's maybe about 5 to a clutch. And a clutch is basically the amount of eggs that they lay at one time. So what the female does is she'll go lay eggs, maybe about 5 eggs with one male, and then she'll find another male to kind of lay eggs with, and then the dads are the ones that take care of the eggs and the babies. Lifespan in captivity, there's been a recorded age of 61, but typically it's around probably 45 to 50 years old in captivity. In the wild, it's more like 18 to 20. I'm very proud to be part of a team that actually got to breed these guys. They are really hard to breed and care and raise young cassowaries in human care. So we're very proud of the fact that we got to do it in 2021 and 2022. So we did raise 3 cassowaries in 2021 and 1 in 2022. So there is an SSP program, and what they do is they just want to make sure that genetics are kept as pure, I guess, as possible. We can't just put one animal with another animal and expect them to breed or want them to breed. There are actually recommendations that come out, so they let us know, based on genetics, put this bird with this bird. So my pair that I have now is not slated to be to breed again, but one of their offspring is. So next year we're hoping to put her with an unrelated male that we have, and hopefully next year we have some babies. Not to be biased, but they are my favorite bird. I love talking about these guys, but they're just so prehistoric looking. I think that's the biggest thing that drew me to them. Having one right in front of you and just seeing how, it's the prehistoric aspect of it. They just such a cool looking bird that I was instantly drawn to them. And just like you heard earlier, that booming sound, the first time I heard that, I was like, that was the best thing ever. I had never heard that before, and it was just the coolest sound I'd ever heard. And they're just amazing animals. So the main thing that we try to do is educate the public on what's going on with the cassowary. We do have a World Cassowary Day that we try to set up a booth actually right here in this area. We try to teach people about cassowaries. We have little keeper chats. We'll give our birds some enrichment. And it's all about the cassowaries that day. So definitely education is a big one. We have raised money before and donated to an organization called Rainforest Rescue, and what they do is they actually buy land and then they basically replant stuff and just let it go wild so the birds can move back in. Anybody that wants to come out and look at these animals, I mean, they're amazing animals. I think the enclosure looks absolutely stunning. I don't think I've ever seen another cassowary exhibit like this one, as far as how well and how many plants we put in there, and just to try to keep it as close to what they would, live in the wild. I think the whole team, the whole zoo did a really good job on furnishing this exhibit. So if you want to come out and check it out, please do so.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure here on Creature Feature. But the journey doesn't end here. To stay connected with the animals of the Gladys Porter Zoo, make sure to follow them on social media for exclusive updates, behind-the-scenes glimpses, and more. And remember, the real magic happens when you experience these amazing creatures in person. So come on down to the Gladys Porter Zoo and see the wonders of this amazing zoo for yourself. See you next time right here on Brownsville TV's Creature Feature with the Gladys Porter Zoo.